What's going on, guys? Vinny here, bringing you part 2 of this series. Little short series is the cheap beast for you to build your teams around your hybrids at the start of FIFA. We started yesterday with the defenders. We're going into midfielders today. A little bit less, longer video, I guess. Going to be a shorter one. That's the word I was looking for. I don't know why it took me so long to think of the word shorter, but it did. So yeah, going to be doing the midfielders today. There's not that many, to be honest with you. There's a few all-round midfielders, but I think the defenders and attackers is really where your team is built and where you want to spend your money. I think midfielders, they're all the same, to be honest. You just need pace. As I mentioned literally all last video, it's just you just need pace and decent defending and physical, and that's just what defenders are. So let's get into midfielders now. And the first one up, as I mentioned yesterday's video, if I look down, it's because I'm looking at the players who I'm trying to basically type in to tell you if they're any good or not. So starting off with a sweaty Premier League CDM. You know, previous years we've had Ndidi, and that guy was the guy, to be honest with you. Ndidi was a sweaty Premier League CDM who we all went to. Now it's this guy who plays for Everton. I think he's, how do you say that? I'm going to call him Gene. Gene Philippi. Gene Philippi? Just call him Gene. 80 pace, 57 shot, 73 pass, 74 dribble, 78 defended, and 83 physical. Looking like an absolute beast. I assume he's probably quite tall as well. He looks like he could be quite a tall player, to be honest with you, like a 5'10 plus. So sweaty CDM option. I think he could be the go-to CDM you lot to pick up from the Premier League for sure. Probably, last video I had one guy who I recommended over everyone, which was Akanji. I think low-key this could be the guy who I recommend over everyone in this video. Started off with Akanji last video, starting off with Gene this video. You know, next up is a fella from League One called Tiago Mendes. You know, I think he got a team of the season, and that's why I knew about him going into this FIFA. He got a team of the season last year, and I think he got a transfer. I might be wrong though if he got a transfer or not. But Tiago Mendes, 78 pace, 70 shots, 78 passing, 79 dribble, 77 defending, 74 physical, looking like an absolute beast. He's small there, I believe he's 5'7", 5'6", so he's sort of your Kante-esque player, but he's actually got pretty decent going forward. Dribbling's pretty solid as well. You know, Brazil, League One, you know, it sort of goes hand in hand. If you want to maybe hybrid it into a Brazilian sort of left side, David Neres left mid maybe, and then Tiago Mendes as the left centre mid, you know, you get the vibe. But going into the next one, going on from the trend of last video, was Bundesliga is the league, okay? And Thomas Delaney is a perfect example why, alright? This is a cheap version of what midfield options you actually have in the Bundesliga. The Bundesliga is filled with really strong players, but they're not going to be probably that cheap off the break. Maybe they are, but I think that this guy is just shows you what the Bundesliga's got. Thomas Delaney, 77 pace, 73 shots, 74 pass, 75 dribble, 85 defending, 82 physical. Right, this guy is gonna be your option before Witzel, I would say probably. As Witzel is looking ridiculous this year, 85 rated, solid all over. That guy is a beast. Got big hair, as I mentioned in the last video. If they got big hair, they're just automatically good. That's just how FIFA works, honestly. They have a bit of pace and they got big hair, and that's what makes him good. Next up is a Bournemouth CDM, unrare though, Jefferson Lerma. It's going to be a nice card off the break, I think. 73 pace, 72 pass, 73 dribble, 78 defending, 80 physical. I think he's going to be a solid option for a really cheap Premier League team. But yeah, the thing, like I mentioned last video, the Premier League for me, I'm just not really feeling it this year. There's going to be all the players are going to be just so expensive. That's not, I just want a sweaty, cheap team. That's why I'm saying Bundesliga and Serie A is where I'm trying to build a hybrid from if I was going to do a hybrid, but I'm putting a load of points on, as you'll see with a pack opening coming up soon. Might do I think I got quite a lot coming up FIFA point wise, so maybe I'll split it into 3-4 videos for you guys, best of 100,000 free points. What 100,000 free points gets you, you know, you get the idea. As I mentioned in the first player, Gene is always the go-to CDM. Indeed, he is still there though. I'm not gonna lie to you. 71 pace, 83 defending, 82 physical with 74 dribbling. This guy's still gonna be an absolute rocking CDM. But I just think that Gene guy who was first is just going to be the guy to have in your Premier League sweat teams, even your sweaty hybrid teams. I think even maybe you could do like a hybrid with that Gene fella in the CDM for you, 4-3-2-1. Gene as the CDM, and then Richarlison as like the right forward or whatever. Could be a very solid option. And as I mentioned in the last video, right, Switzerland in the Bundesliga is an absolute steal, right? Yeah, I said Akanji in right centre back, and Babu right back, and then right centre mid you use Zachary, right? From there you have a triangle. This is going to be one of the like in the video of perfect links, the triangle perfect links. This Zachary, or however you say his name, he's going to be an unreal CDM. 82 pace, 63 shooters, 75 pace, 75 dribble, 79 defending, 82 physical. I feel like this guy could be the Kondobia of last year. Kondobia in FIFA 19 was an absolute beast, especially when he started getting the one-to-watches in the Europa League cards or whatever they was. He started getting ridiculous cards. If Zachary, I believe Borussia is in the Europa Cup, or they're in the Champions League. I think they're in one of them. So low-key, he could get like maybe a Europa card and it could look ridiculous. So one to watch out for, especially in the triangle. That video will be up very soon as well. Another Premier League, there's a lot of Premier League sweaty midfielders, to be honest with you. Oxlade-Chamberlain is the next one. 82 pace, 73 shooting, 78 pass, 83 dribble, 66 defending, 73 physical. If you play a 4-4-2 and he's one of your centre mids, he'd be ridiculous. Don't think he'd be any good in the 4-2-3-1 if he's like one of your CDMs or your cam. I think there's probably better options in cam what you could do, especially if you like start in a different formation and maybe move a player. I think this guy's more suited as like a centre mid role in a 4-4-2 or a narrow or 4-3-3, 4-3-2-1. You know, if you've got three midfielders or it's a 4-4-2, this guy could be a really good pickup. Next up is a sweaty Serie A player. Serie A's got some real nice talent, especially sweaty like midfielders. Zielinski, 81 pace, 72 shot, 81 pass, 83 dribble, 70 defended, 61 physical. I think there was a right back called, I think his first name is Kevin. I might be wrong. There's a right back French from Napoli. You could do a nice little link into him with Zielinski. Could look ridiculous. Even if you've got a little bit more budget, maybe even do the triangle of Zielinski, Manolas, and Kevin at right back. That's his first name, I'm pretty sure. I'll call him Kevin, but I can't remember what his surname is. It starts with M. Yeah, you know what I'm doing. Another sweaty Premier League player. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like Premier League, low-key actually. The defence was looking like there is some players there, but could be quite expensive. Maybe even the same with the midfielders. They're probably going to be quite expensive. They usually are. That's just how the Premier League sort of just goes. Tanguy and Ndombele just made his move to Tottenham, as a lot of you will know. 80 pace, 65 shooting, 78 pass, 87 dribble, 70 defending, 78 physical. Could probably play CDM, definitely play CDM for you. Could definitely play as a right centre mid, left centre mid, and a narrow. Maybe even a centre mid in the 4-4-2. So plenty of versatility within this guy. More of a deep player, I would say, as a CDM and centre mid. Wouldn't push him up too high though, up the pitch. But solid player all round. Next up, Tottenham, French. Like French is the theme. I think when we all start building our hybrids and our sweaty teams, French is usually the theme what people go off. And this card is looking ridiculous. Moussa Sissoko, 80 pace, 70 shooting, 78 passing, 79 dribble, 79 defending, 89 physical. Whoo, whoo, whoo. He's like he could be low-key 6 foot plus. I think he could be 5'11" though. But whew, this guy is looking like a beast, man. Play him CDM, centre mid, whatever you feel like. I wouldn't push him up higher, like I mentioned with Ndombele. I think he's going to be unreal though. Definitely one to pick up. Actually, if you put him next to Gene, who was the first player from Everton, put them two as a CDM. Whew, I'm telling you, that's like mountain. That's low key, yeah. Vieira, like the cheap Vieira and the cheap Hullet. I'm not gonna lie, like especially Premier League as well. Obviously, Sissoko don't have the 5-star skills and that 5-star weak foot and 4-star skills, but still got an unreal all-round card. Next up, we got another French player. French players are obviously the theme with sweaty cheap teams. Uwa. No, it's not Uwa. I actually don't know how to say this guy's name right. There was a pro player who had played Football Manager with him, and he had him in midfield. And we didn't know how to say his name, so it just goes Wah. So that's why I just call him Uwa. I don't know why. It's just a thing. He's Leon. He got a Future Stars card, even a team of the season. 79 pace, 71 shot, 79 pass, 83 dribble, 66 defending, 67 physical. Will be useful in a narrow or a 4-3-2-1. I wouldn't use him in a 4-4-2, and I wouldn't use him in a 4-2-3-1 as like the deeper player. Could push him up slightly, but I think he's a little bit too slow as to play as a cam in a 4-2-3-1 or whatever it may be. But I think in a narrow or 4-3-2-1, 4-3-3, he could do a real good job for you guys. Up next is Fred. You know, he was a very good sweat player last year, to be honest, especially at the start. 76 pace, 63 shooting, 75 pass, 80 dribbles, 74 defending, 69 physical. Just another little cheap option with you. You know, I'll put 2 unrare players from the Premier League, Fred and who was the other one? Oh, Lerma. I had to quickly look down on my list. You know, 2 okay standard players for you to use. Next up is Renato Sanches, playing in the League 1 now. He's made his move to Lille. 76 pace, 72 shots, 69 pass, 77 dribbles, 70 defending and 82 physical. Going to be a nice box-to-box sort of feel midfielder, 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1. Centre mid CDM will do a great job for you for sure, especially with the options like you have in League 1. He'd be a great player to put your team in. Even if there's some, I think there's a sweaty Portuguese player in League 1 in attack, Gelson Martins. He's got 96 pace, so maybe putting them 2 strong link could be an absolute weapon, you know, together. Next up, another French League player, Sanson. Always has a solid card. Oh, I've just gone off. He's always got a solid card on him. He's an all-round midfielder, 75 pace, 73 shooting, 78 pass, 77 dribbles, 70 defenders, 75 physical. Usually has 4-star, so yeah, just a decent little French player in the League 1 you can use all round. Very cheap he will be. Next up, another Switzerland talent from the Bundesliga. As I tell you, the Switzerland players in the Bundesliga low-key are sweaty this year. Zuber, I believe hashtag Harry in like FIFA, I want to say FIFA 18, he had his inform card and percent. He was ridiculous. Played him as like a centre mid or CDM, I can't remember, but I remember him raving about this Zuber card. 78 pace, 74 shooting, 73 passing, 77 dribble, 71 defending, 75 physical. Nice all-round cheap players. You know, that's what the hits here. Sweaty cheap players, bit of height about them, a little bit physical about them. Nice pace. You know, they're going to do a good job for you guys. Next up, another League 1 player, Golovin. 81 pace, 71 shooting, 75 pass, 62 dribble, 65 defending, 67 physical. I would use him as in a centre mid role in the narrow 4-4-2. As long as in the 4-4-2 you have somebody a bit more defensive minded. So yeah, definitely a card to look at. Good pace on him. I think in a narrow or 4-3-2-1 he could be a really good player to use. Next up, an all-round box-to-box unreal looking player, Frank Kessie. I was going to say Yannick, but you know, Kessie I think is how we know him. Sweaty Serie A player. As I mentioned, Serie A's got some real nice players around this rating to use. Decent pace on him, 62 pace, 62 shooting, 62 pass, 77 dribbles, 78 defending, 88 physical. He can literally play any sort of role in the CDM centre mid. Narrow, play him as a CDM or centre mid. 4-4-2, play him as a centre mid. 4-4-2-2, you could use him as a CDM. Whatever you like, I think he would be really good as more of a defensive mind, box to box sort of S player. Obviously you wouldn't want to push him up too high in attack, like I wouldn't use him cam or anything, but for sure would use this guy as a CDM or centre mid in your teams. Next up, as I mentioned him already in the video, Kondobia is always going to have a nice card. Pretty solid all round. They've took his pace off a little compared to last year, but 69 pace, 63 shooting, 76 passing, 69 dribbles, 78 defending, 88 physical. Solid card. Going to be an absolute beast in the CDM role, centre mid role, more defensive minded player for you guys. Top player. A little bit hard to link because of his nationality, but you know, La Liga, I'm sure there's going to be a few options you could sort of link him into. I think Guedes is quite a nice little player left mid for Valencia, so maybe you go down that route. Maybe like you do like a line of 3, right? And then you do Jose Guy left back, left centre mid Kondobia, left mid Guedes. You know, there's different options you could use. I think even there's Rodrigo, so you could do a little triangle there, whatever it may be. Up next is Van Beek. And why this guy is so good, right? 71 pace, 78 shoot, 77 pass, 79 dribble, 71 defenders, 79 physical. He does it all, right? Another box-to-box sort of style player. I would use him more as a centre mid and a CDM. I wouldn't use him as a cam. But what makes this guy even better, I would say, is the link what you're going to see with him and David Neres, who's a left winger for Ajax, and he is looking ridiculous. I've mentioned him a lot in the first 2 videos, and I feel like he could be a real good asset for a lot of people's cheap teams. The Eredivisie is always fairly cheap when you go and try and build teams. So yeah, Van Beek going to be a super nice option to pick up. Next up, another player plays for Valencia actually. Daniel Was, absolute baller. 73 pace, 77 shooting, 81 pass, 77 dribble, 76 defending, 75 physical. Usually had I think he had 4-star last year. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he had 4-star skills. Going to be a solid player. Put him next to maybe Kondobia. You know, then you've got two players who can go forward, defend. Solid options all around for you to build your teams. Up next, right, it's Jesse Lingard. And this, I did need to put a few cam options when I did the midfield style, because I think when I do my teams, right, the person who I'm putting in cam is usually when I'm hybriding my team, and it's like somebody I put, like I'm maybe moving a striker down into cam, or I'm putting a winger into cam. I don't really usually start with a guy who's cam, but if you do, like you use a 4-3-3-4 straight off the bat, don't change it, or 4-2-3-1 straight off the bat, don't change it. You don't want to do all that changing, pressing, go to defensive and whatnot to make it work. Lingard's an option, 80 pace, 78 shoot, 76 pass, and 83 dribble, 72 physical. But I would say more midfielders, I'm looking at CDMs and centre mids, I'm not really looking at cams, and I'll go into more detail when I do the attackers, like who can play certain positions for your team. And the last guy from the La Liga, Hector Herrera, 82 overall, 72 pace, 75 shot, 75 pass, 76 dribble, 78 defending, 81 physical. Obviously, you got the La Liga route to go down. You got the Mexico route into Lozano to Serie A, La Liga. Maybe you could do a little naughty hybrid there with them. But he's looking like an all-round nice box-to-box midfielder. Put him next to Kondobia, Waz, whatever you may feel like. CDM centre mid for this guy as well. But that'll be it for the video, guys. That's the midfielders done. Tomorrow will be the attackers. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.